All right, so as I mentioned, we did make a profit last year on our Breeders' Cup bets. Don't go back and look at how big of a profit it was, but it was a profitable ROI. So we're very, very proud. We'll pat ourselves on the back a little bit for that. We're going to go and do a pick five for the. We're actually basically what's going to happen is we're going to replicate some of our on track discussions. You know, when you're doing like a pick five ticket, a pick four ticket, a pick six ticket with your friends, who do you like? Who do you have to use? Who should we throw in as a bomb? Pick five on Friday is what we're going to have for all five Breeders' Cup races. I'm going to do a pick five to start the first five races on Saturday, and then a pick four for the last four races on Saturday. You know, Jim, I said this replicates some of our conversations and our days. Saratoga was a very, very trying time for us. We had a lot of pick sixes, a lot of 5 out of 6s with you and a lot of the buddies up at the post bar. You know, Jim, just kind of recap for the audience how close we came so many times up at the spot.
I don't know how I feel, and I reflect on Saratoga a lot from a gambling aspect, and it was productive. And I felt like from day one till Labor Day, I felt like handicapping wise, I was spot on. And there were a couple of times we came down to the wire. There was one in particular, let's go Big Blue. We were 5 deep in the last leg, including a couple that we had the only ticket on the track and couldn't connect. I mean, that was probably one of the most gut wrenching losses of my life. And I really thought after we had a couple of $30 winners in there. We had some nutty picks that came through, and then we were 5 deep in the last leg, and I thought for sure this is it. We're going to hit something in it, and it was 200,000-300,000. I think they were coming back. So
yeah. And we ran like second, third, and fourth and shit too, and a lot of these. But even though it was frustrating, we had a lot of near misses. It was a fun process, and I think what's fun about these kind of group pick 6 tickets or pick 5 tickets is you're able to add horses that you may not have seen in the first blush. You know, you get together with some people whose handicapping opinions that you really respect and who may see the race or the races a little bit differently than you. And it allows you not just to have a bigger budget, but allows you to lock onto horses that you might not otherwise have, eliminate some of the biases that you might personally have. So it's a great exercise. Next year, we're cracking the big one. I have no doubt about it. But yeah, it was 5 out of 6 after another. We texted each other like, how is this possible?
We did back-to-back weekends of Friday and Saturday, 5 out of 6, 4 times in a row. That's just ridiculous.
The one you're talking about, like Meg and I were sitting at dinner, and I was like, I got to step outside. Like, this is very, very trying.
Joe, if you were at Saratoga or at the post bar when we were all huddled around right before the race, they're coming onto the track, and there was dead silence. It was like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter. Nobody talks to anybody. It was disgusting.
Exactly.
No, we'll get it. We'll get there.
Yeah. No, and it's like I said, it's great to put our heads together, try to find some horses that maybe some other people don't have. Let's turn the page. Breeders' Cup. It's a fabulous Breeders' Cup. Tons of great racing, as you would obviously expect. A lot of international participation. The Japanese, in particular, are sending 19 horses. It used to be none. Then it used to only be a couple, but they've been emboldened by the wins that they've had in recent years. That's a big storyline. Everything starts off, and we're not going to spend a ton of time on each race, because we're going to try to keep this under an hour. We're putting these tickets together. We're going to start off with the Juvenile Turf Sprint on Friday. Post time is 5:45. Field of 12. €7 or Japanese. Or €7, one Japanese horse. I don't know about you, Jim. I don't think the American horses have any shot in here. So it's really, to me, just an exercise in who do you like from the foreign shippers. I think the Japanese horse, the 8 Akoro Sig, is really, really interesting. You could say he's stepping up in class right here. You don't know what he was beating in those Japanese races, but he's crazy fast. He ran 107-1 for 6 furlongs last time, broke a 23-year-old track record at Nakayama. It was the fastest 6 furlongs a 2-year-old has ever run in Japan. He's got speed. He's got the American pedigree, being by Twirling Candy. I definitely have to use him. The other horse I 100% have to use is Ides of March from the outside for Aidan O'Brien. Tough draw, but he's got speed, obviously, and has gotten better every single race. 8-12 is who I definitely have to use. Who can you not live without, and maybe who's a long shot you want to toss in?
Well, I got the 8 as my top pick in there as well. I got the 12 rated third, believe it or not, and this might be a heartfelt pick more than anything. I got George Weaver's horse second. That Governor Sam, I think, is the only maybe American horse that has a shot. I love Paco, too. I think pound for pound, he might be the best rider in the country that gets zero credit, that flies under the radar for the most part. I get him second, and I get the 12 third. So I do like the E12. I would like to throw in the 10, and that gets us through the first leg. But I love the 8. If you told me you wanted to single the 8, I'd probably do it. I
Yeah,
think there's
I
a
mean,
lot of both those starts were very impressive.
yeah, super impressive, and you think he's still got a lot of upside too. The only other there's two other Euros who I'm a little bit interested in: Asterius, the 2, and the 4 Magnum Force. Magnum Force is a big price on the morning line at 15 to 1. I'm okay. I think I'm okay leaving off the shorter prices, but I think the 4 for Gare Lions is worth throwing in at a price. So if
Definitely,
you want to,
yeah,
let's go 4, 10, 8, 12 to start, and then maybe we'll see how the rest of it shakes out. Maybe we'll do a second ticket punching the
yep,
1 or the 8 rather as a single.
that sounds good. Yeah, I love that.
All right, cool. So that was quick. We'll move on to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, post time 6:25, 10 horse field. The favorite is on the outside in number 10, Scottish Lassie. Blew away the field in the Frisette last time out by 9 lengths. You have an interesting Japanese horse in as well in here. One stalled her inside an American Bikini. Ryan Moore picks up the ride, which I think is a little bit interesting. It's not a classic Juvenile Fillies field. Second choice is the 3 Immersive, who's undefeated for Brad Cox. She hasn't run crazy fast, but I think she's got to be used. I think of the long shots, I think Vodka with a Twist is a little interesting towards the inside for Phil D'Amato. Obviously, a top trainer on the West Coast. She's got speed to be close, as she's going to need from the rail draw. And I don't know about you, Jim. I don't know if you played a lot of Del Mar in the summer, but it seemed to me like the track was very, very speed favoring and very kind of speed. You didn't see a lot of deep closers winning. So I'm in general going to shy away from the closers in this Breeders' Cup, but she's the one I find a little bit interesting at a price at the rail. What do you think?
So we were talking about going to Scottish Lassie, which will probably end up being the favorite in this race. I think the race is wide open. So for that horse to be probably going to be 5-2, which is the morning line somewhere around there. I think you're just giving up a little bit too much. Immersive, I do like as well. American Bikini, I like. I think this race is wide open. I think we got to go pretty deep here with the
Yeah,
ticket.
I agree. I think that one other horse that I would throw in is, I mean, she's been, she's a little, I think she's a little bit of a disappointment relative to her $1.8 million purchase price so far, because she's been beaten at short prices in the Del Mar Debutante, the Oak Leaf. But I think Nooney, I think with non-compliant out of the race, you got a little speed from Lecara, who was interesting, but I think Nooney could get loose in this race under Flavian Pratt. I think that's a positive rider switch. She's 15-1 morning line. She's working well for Bob Baffert. So I think I'd throw her in as well.
And your Vodka with the Twist too. We got to throw that one in.
Yes,
You're absolutely right. We got to put that one in somewhere. And I think
100%.
we can go deep on this race. This is one that because it is so wide open. And if the favorite, the bottom line with all of these multi-race tickets, if you hit it, it's going to pay a nice ticket, no matter what
Yeah.
comes out.
No doubt. And on that note, I think Lecara is worth throwing in just because, she has the versatility. She went wire to wire in her maiden win, and then she was able to come from way out of it in the Pocahontas. So I think that she's a little bit interesting and has kind of the tactical speed that you need to factor in this race. The only two I don't really like are Snow White for Dandy Garden and the 6, the other Japanese horse. Jim, is it worth trying to chop horses off here, or do you want to just go all and then try to press a couple? Because with the scratch, it's only a 9-horse field.
Yeah, we can tentatively go all. I mean,
Okay,
there are some tougher races coming up that I don't know if the ticket's going to dictate keep going all, but we could put it
right.
in there for now. I don't like the 6 at all either. I agree with you.
Yeah,
And yeah, Danny Gargan's horse. I mean, it could pop up and win, but doesn't show anything that shows it can win this type of a race. So
yeah, yeah. So we'll say all for now, and then maybe we'll go back and trim. I think on the A ticket, I think 1, 3, 9, 10 is how I would go. Vodka with a Twist at a price, and then the 3 favorites. So let's do that. So on the ticket singling at Coro Sagan, the previous race, we'll go 1, 3, 9, 10 in here. Tentatively going all in the Juvenile Fillies on the main ticket. We're moving to the Juvenile Fillies Turf, post time 7:05, full field. This is the race where I kind of want to lean on one of the favorites, or at least 2 of the favorites. I think Lake Victoria towers over this field. Obviously she's got to stretch out. She's got to go around turns for the first time. She's only gone a 7 furlong straightaway. She's by Frankel. She got to think she's going to be able to stretch out. She drew the rail, so that could be a little bit tricky. But she's got the speed to factor. She's got Ryan Moore, one of the best riders in the country. To me, I think she and the local horse, Phil D'Amato's horse, Thought Process, who's been great in her 3 turf races, has versatility. To me, those are the main two. No disrespect to John and Vixen, but she drew 13, so I think that puts her a little bit up against it. I don't know, Jim. I'm happy to throw someone else in, but this is the kind of the 5 races. This is the one I would feel most comfortable going narrow, and for me, it's 1-7.
I love the 1 and the 7. I love everything you're saying, but this is my long shot special of the whole card. Is I like the 9. Why can't Kilwin go a little bit longer and like this at a major ticket? I think that horse is going to get overlooked, and we may get 25-1 on there. And I gotta throw that one in there. Have to. I mean, the other two
Okay.
I love, and I'm with you 100%.
All right.
But I love the 9. That might be my long shot special. But again, if they bet the horse down to 8-1, I don't love it as much. So
No, I think that's I don't. For some reason, Rusty Arnold's horses never get bet, at least not outside of Keeneland. So I think that
yeah,
horse is going to be a big price. Stretching out, came from way out of it last time. Yeah, I have no problem with that. So I'm okay just going 1-7-9 in here, and then
beautiful,
pressing the 1 and the 7 on the backup ticket or the press
beautiful.
ticket. Move
Yep.
on to the so far we're 4x9x3 on the main ticket, and then 1x4x2 on the backup ticket. So we'll probably have to go narrow in at least one of these last 2 legs. But I think the Juvenile is the most interesting race on the card. East Avenue is going to be a pretty big favorite, I think, from the rail. 5-2 morning line, probably ends up landing at 8-5 or 9-5. But he drew the rail, and there's a lot of speed in this race, so I think he's a little bit vulnerable. The horse for me is Jonathan's Way. I thought he was the most impressive 2-year-old we saw at Saratoga all summer when he won that race. West Point had Moment's Notice in there, and I thought Moment's Notice ran great, and he got his doors blown off by Jonathan's Way. He closed that day. He went wire to wire in the Iroquois, so he's got versatility. He can adapt to other pace scenarios. He drew better than the other favorite in East Avenue. My key horse is Jonathan's Way. I think you have to use the 1 defensively. Who else are we gonna include in here, Jim?
I agree with you with the speed factor with that horse breaking from the rail. I don't have East Avenue in my top 4, to be honest with you. The other horse that I kind of like is Chancer McPatrick. Another one,
Yep.
impressive at Saratoga. I think we'll fit right in. I like Jonathan's Way too. You're probably right. We do have to throw the 1 in as a saver. I don't like that horse at all.
All right.
But maybe we go 3 deep here,
Yep.
something like that.
Yeah, I think that's fine. There's nothing super clever. But yeah, I think the only issue with Chancer McPatrick is, like I said, the track may play against him. But like I said, I think there's enough speed in here that could offset any kind of track bias. And by the way, I'm just assuming the track is going to play like this. Very, very important to pay attention to tomorrow's races and then the early races on Friday to notice if there is any track bias and if there is kind of the same lean that we had during the Del Mar summer meet. So yeah, I'm fine going 1-5-10.
And this is a race here that also with the 8 and the 9, the 2 Japanese horses, we don't know what they're going to do. I mean, they may go all out early and just set a ridiculous pace to set it up for a closer, even if the track is speed favoring. It doesn't really matter if the fractions are ridiculous. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point. So we're going 1-5-10 in here. So far we're 4x9 by 3x3. So just doing the quick math, that's 436 times 4.5, 162 times whatever we use in the last leg. Again, we can chop from that all race if we really need to. So we're going to the last race of the day on Friday, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, 8:25 post time to close it all out. I love John's horse in this race. I'm not being biased. I thought Dream On ran huge in the Summer Stakes. We talked about it a little bit on the main show. Very, very fast-paced, inherited the lead at the top of the stretch, fought all the way down to the wire in a really long stretch. Jockey couldn't keep him straight, and so that I think cost him a little bit too. He's 20-1 morning line. The 2 horses that beat him by 2 lengths combined are Alcudro, who's 4-1, and New Century, who's 5-2 on the morning line. They got the Dream set up in that race. I love Dream on here. Big positive rider switch to Jose Ortiz. Drew well. I don't know if there's a ton of speed. There's like a little bit maybe from the outside, and Menti stretching out. Maybe one of the Euros goes. I really like Dream on, but I'm curious to hear what you think. It's on paper to me at least a wide open race.
Yeah, it is definitely wide open, and that's exactly what my notes say. I do have Dream On rated in third right now. And for the record, I love the name. Anything named after a Boston band
I
song
figured. I thought that'd
awesome.
be right up your alley.
This is one of my battles with the Jockey Club constantly. And I think I use this horse as an example to get the West Point horse name Walking in Memphis. Because if you allow Dream On, you have to allow Walking in Memphis. So
Exactly.
I definitely got him rated in there, and I did feel like this race was wide open. I kind of like the Japanese horse, the One, a little bit as a long shot. For no other reason. I mean, both races again. It's a shipper that's coming in. That both races were very impressive. Looks like he can run a little bit. So I want to throw that one in. And maybe Zulu Kingdom is the other one that I kind of like a little bit. But I have no problem putting Dream On there. How deep can we go in here to make the ticket reasonable?
Yeah, I think 3 deep, unless we, I feel like maybe, this is like famous last words, but I feel like maybe let's go back and trim the 2 horses we weren't going to use in the Juvenile Fillies, because every dollar matters. So then we'll take that down to 7 in there instead of 9. So let me just adjust that real quick. We're going 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, or rather 7 scratch, 8, 9, 10 in the Juvenile Fillies. So that takes us to 4 by 7 by 3 by 3. So now we're looking at 112, 126. I think 4 deep now is doable in this race on the main ticket, at least. That takes us to about 500.
We're in agreement. We want to put the 2 in, definitely.
Yes, and definitely the 1. And I'm with you on Zulu Kingdom. I thought, I thought he showed a lot of bravery in those 2 races. He dove through a narrow opening inside in the With Anticipation. He got checked in the Pilgrim and still got up over a very, very boggy turf course. So I like what I've seen from him. He's undefeated. So 1, 2, 5 for sure. And then it's just a matter, do you want to cover the favorite, or do you want to throw another bomb in here as the 4th horse?
I kind of like the 10 a little bit, Menti. I mean, I'm okay going with that if that's what we can do.
Perfect. No, I like him too, because it's not a ton of speed in here. He drew outside. Johnny Velasquez, for my money, is the best big money rider in the business. So I think he's going to have him in a great spot. And, he's only been 6-7 furlongs, but he's a full brother to Fierceness. So I think that there's no reason to think that he can't stretch out. I mean, it's a little risky, I think, leaving out the Euros, but, I feel good with those 4. So, let's do that. So
this is going to be a nice ticket, too. If somebody connects on this, if we connect on this, that's going to be a good ticket.
Yeah, 100%. So, Julia, I'll send these to you, of course, but we're going to go 4, 8, 10, 12 in the first leg, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10 in the second leg, 1, 7, 9 in the third leg, 1, 5, 10 in the fourth leg, and then 1, 2, 5, 10 in the finale, the closer of the day. So that's 4 by 7 by 3 by 3 by 4. Doing the math real quick. I'm doing this off the top of my head, so give me a little bit of credit and a little bit of time. $504 for the main ticket. And then I think in the backup ticket, we might as well just use all the ones we used in the last 2 legs. In the backup ticket, we're going to single the 8 Nakoro Sig in the first race, and then we're going to go 1, 3, 9, 10 in the second leg, 1, 7 in the third leg, by 1, 5, 10, by 1, 2, 5, 10 in the last leg. So that's going to be 1 by 4 by 2 by 3 by 4. So that's going to be a $48 ticket total, $552 investment. I think that's solid for a late pick 5 that Jim, we think we both agree could be big balloons.
Definitely, no doubt, especially if Dream On wins that last end.
Yeah, or the Japanese tour. Yeah, no, for sure. I love it.